has to be like a mini skirt, you know? It has to be short enough to arouse interest, but long enough to cover all the essentials. How are you Gabsters doing? It is Sunday. I hope you Gabsters are having a good day. I know I am. I'm in the process of packing. I have one last job for the year. Well, I'm not planning on picking up any more jobs, but if any jobs come to me, I'm always here for that top up. But yes, I've got one more job and I'm really excited about it because this is like classic anthropology. I'm going to be going into the field to collect data. We're going to be going to Mpumalanga. I got this job through the department, how do I explain? So how my boss is linked to the department is he did his postdoc at our department about 3 years ago, I think. But prior to that, he had worked on Swaziland, so he knew my supervisor. I had used some of his work on my in my honors, and so I sort of knew about him. He sort of knew about me because, but and then when he came to the department saying, look, I'm looking for a researcher, I want to do some work in Mpumalanga. Mpumalanga is Swazi speaking, by the way. So that's why I was potentially recommended for the job. So they were like, hey, Gabby is around. Gabby's always looking for top-ups. Contact her. He contacted me. I was like, yes, I am here for the job. So we're going to Mpumalanga next week. I'll be there for about 4 days or 5 days. But I'm packing for going into the field. Now, going out and collecting data, Gabsters, is like classic anthropology. So I can't wait. And I just wanted to show you some of the things that I pack when I go into the field. So I have my bag over here. Depending on sort of how you're going to be collecting the data. For instance, a backpack or a satchel would be better. But because we're going to be collecting the data at one spot, I don't really need a backpack. It's not like that important. So, because I won't be walking around much, so I don't have to be like super comfy. And I like this bag. This is like the bag that I use. And then always carry shades, like sunshine. You never know where you have to end up. So yeah, always have water because you don't know how long the people are going to be there for, and you don't know how long you're going to be sitting there for. You don't know, you just don't know. So it's always good to have water. I always have hand cream just because bathrooms, and then you change, and then some people use hand sanitizers. I normally carry hand wipes, which I need to go buy, but I don't have them right now. And then sunscreen, because you meet people, you walk around, and I always like to top up my sunscreen when I'm there. Sweets, now I've got this sweet here, but I actually want to buy a packet of sweets, because when you meet people, firstly, you could be out the whole day with like no shops forever and ever. So you want to be eating something. You don't want to faint, right? And also it's always nice to offer people, like when you meet someone, you take out a sweet, you offer them, then they start talking, and then, lip stuff because I'm addicted, headache tablets because sometimes you can go all day without food, or you can, I get a lot of headaches if it's too hot, and I'm dehydrated, whatever. So you always need this. Always carry whatever medications that you take, chronic medication that you need. You always need pens. They're always important. This is a charging battery. Why is it on? This is a charging battery. What do you call it? Power bank. And then this is my dictaphone because I'm going to be doing interviews. So the dictaphone is a Sony one, and basically you record, you stop, and then it's got folders. When you play back, you can actually play back like at a slower speed or a faster speed and all of that stuff. So I really like this dictaphone. It's very handy. I always bring like a separate notepad for whatever data collection I'm going to be doing. It's just, for me, filing wise, it's just easier. Then I can put in whatever the name is, and then I can check it over there, and I can use it for whatever the stuff is for until it's gone. Always bring comfortable shoes. I'm bringing pumps. They're very soft. They're very flat. I love flat shoes, by the way. But these ones, I like them specifically because they've got a high back, so it's more of a shoe than a pump. And also this middle part is super soft. Like, it's soft. So I can walk in these for hours and not worry about anything. This is my normal notebook because my other work doesn't stop, so I'm bringing this over. I've got tissues over here, but this is also a reminder for me to get wet wipes. Bring whatever identification you need. Bring your cell phone also for, you need to contact people, but also the power bank works for the cell phone. Bring your hat, because again, it's going to be sunny and you don't know what to do. So this is what I pack to go out into the field. And yeah, what we also have is we also have then the interview sheets that we're going to have, like administrative stuff. We also have the interview sheets that we have, so the questions and all of that stuff. And then we have consent sheets, which you give to the participant to say, do you agree to participate in the study? Do you agree to be recorded? Do you agree to, can we type it up after we've recorded into, transcribe it into like written word? Would you like to get a copy of the transcription once it's done? And it just basically tells them about confidentiality and all of that. And then once they've agreed to being part of the study, then you have the interview sheet, where you sort of like each participant has their own interview sheet. And let me see if I can show you. I don't think I can show you everything, but I don't have it here. Where is it? So for instance, I'm not going to show you the questions, but so you have on the side like the different questions, right? And then so for each section you get to write down whatever notes that you pick up during the interview that maybe can't be seen, like, because you're going to be voice recording it. So maybe if we see them like scratching their head, or if they pause for a long time and you just want to make a note of it, or if they get fidgety at a certain question, or sort of like visual cues that you might not be able to like record on a voice recorder. Or sometimes it's just like a reminder, maybe they say something and then you want to put a reminder to ask them about something later, then you just write it down so that you don't actually cut them in the middle of a response, but then you have somewhere to write. And then each person has their own interview sheet, because each person is unique. Obviously, it's not like you take the same sheet and you just ask like, do you agree, do you disagree, and whatever. Next, Gabsters is write out an abstract for call for papers. So to get to conferences as a student, so part of my work is to write papers and present those papers at conferences and things like that. It's a big part of academia. It's where we share information. It's where we get to network with other people. It's where we get to, because a lot of the time we work sort of individually, or like in very small circles. So we don't work, there is no office where there's 50 of us working at the same time. So for us to be able to sort of like share what the work that we're working on and all of that stuff, we usually work for conferences. It's also how you build up your reputation, how you build up your name. It's where you get to start collaborating with a lot of people, where you meet people to potentially future collaborate with. It's where you figure out, oh, what's happening over here, and the different theories that are popping up, because you can't read everybody, so it's always nice. Now, conferences basically are done by journals. So journals will have a call for papers for a conference. You will have maybe, maybe different think tanks will have papers, universities will have conferences. So different spaces make conferences for whatever reasons. And then to get to the conference and to get to present your paper, what the conference will do is that they will have like a call for papers, a call for abstracts. And then in that call for abstracts, they will have like a theme. So the theme will be whatever. And then under that theme, they might have like sub themes or subsections or sub areas of interest. So I have 3 abstracts that I need to write currently. So I need to write abstracts for that before I leave. So what to do is, I'll show you this one. So this one is for Anthropology Southern Africa. ASDA is a very student-friendly conference, and it's a very student-friendly journal. So if you're a student in anthropology and you're in Southern Africa or Africa, I would say, then ASNA is a really good one. This year it's in Malawi, so I'm particularly interested in going. So that should be fun. So anyway, so this year the call for papers was 2017. So this is 18 to 20. Oh, now you guys know my travel dates. So here's the theme: strengthening the teaching of anthropology in Southern Africa. And then the rationale for the conference is all down here. And then these are the sub-themes: specific topics to be discussed during the conference. So they want anthropology and development, current database of ethnicity. So I'm going to be thinking strengthening the teaching of anthropology in Southern Africa more generally, but then I could fit in my work in one of these areas specifically. So, anthropology and development, current database, race and ethnicity, decolonizing the anthropology curricula, health and well-being, anthropology and disability, Fisma's full experience in Southern Africa. I'll probably be doing something around here. If there is no theme or sub-theme that you can find yourself in, I could potentially do anthropology and development and then sort of link it to social media as another area for potentially for anthropology to venture into thinking about the development of digital anthropology. So I'll either try and fit it in here or in here. I'm not sure yet. So they tell you that the call for papers is the 15th of March. So this is when it opened. The abstract submission is on the 31st of May. So I need to do this ASAP. And then we'll know by the 15th of June whether your paper's been accepted or not. So, and then, so that's what it is. The abstract itself normally just tells people what the paper is going to be about, how you went about getting the data, and maybe what it is that you're going to be arguing or your final conclusion. But that some people leave behind and other people don't. Sometimes people want to leave you wondering, other people don't. So yeah, so that's what the conference, I need to do 3 of those. They're usually about, an abstract is usually about, about 250 words is usually like a pretty good abstract. Not more than 500, most places will say. So yeah, so it has to be detailed enough for people. I was at this workshop yesterday and the guy was saying it has to be like a mini skirt, you know? It has to be short enough to arouse interest, but long enough to cover all the essentials. So basically that's what an abstract should be like not a full page of nothingness. So that's one of the things that I need to do by Tuesday before I leave. How do you find out about these conferences, basically, I suppose would be your next question, because that was a question for me all the time. So one, you either, in your field, as you go in your field or whatever, you start noticing like the popular journals, and you start either getting memberships for those journals or, you know, following them on social media if you can't afford the memberships, because sometimes it's quite expensive. So you just follow them on social media, and you do have conference websites, but they can be like a lot, because especially since a lot of conferences like to plan like a year ahead. So you need to be looking this year for next year's conferences. Some people send to the department, like when people have conferences coming up, they'll advertise their conferences through the university departments, and then the department will share that information with all their students. Oh my god, this camera is getting so heavy. They'll share that information with all their students, and then we'll see, oh, call for papers. One of the main reasons why I'm happy to have that workspace is because through that workspace and through meeting people who are also in other departments, you find that maybe there is a conference that's coming up, but because it's not directly aligned to your field, maybe it's more of a sociology conference instead of an anthropology conference, that it doesn't get sent to your department. It goes to anthropology, it goes to sociology, but maybe they're talking about something that's really relevant to you. So having a colleague having a network of colleagues in different departments and hearing what they're submitting for is really important. So through also your colleagues, you get to know about different conferences. So yeah, follow them on social media, join membership clubs, read your department emails, and meet people. And that's how you find out about these conferences. Conferences are really good because they build up your CV. it's where you get to test out a lot of your work. Sometimes if you're still thinking about a theme, you can present it at a conference and get a lot of feedback to what people say or do, or what they think about your theory, how strong is your theory. Sometimes they give you some really good pointers. Maybe you're stuck on something, you're like, okay, I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried this, I don't know what else to do. You can try it at a conference. You never know what people come up with. Sometimes maybe you thought it was weak and you presented at a conference and people are like, wow, that's fantastic. Other times you just flop, you must flop, and then you sink, and then someone comes and saves you. But it's really always fun, and I think they're great for building up confidence and also to get you to the point of publishing. A conference is a really good place for you to like measure how well your work is, to get you to the place of publishing. They can also be very like, non-helpful and things like that, but it always looks good. Anyway, Gabsters, I've talked enough. I will see you guys in another vlog. Bye. You have friends, and your friends start your morning off with the song. Happy Friday, Gabsters. Happy Friday.